There you go. Hey guys, David29 here. This is a new series I will be doing, which I will talk more about shortly. But before that, skip to the actual video, which I don't recommend by the way, because this intro is kind of important. Press the timestamp on the screen now, or just go to the time on the screen. There should be one somewhere around the top, probably. I don't know. Figure this out later. So, this series called First Impressions will obviously, as you can tell by the name, be First Impressions. It will be my first impressions mainly on anime, but occasionally I'll talk about other shows and series as well, such as this episode will be about, as you can probably tell by the title. Each episode will start with a short intro, in which I will, probably for the first couple episodes, recap, how it's gonna format, but I'll talk about some of my quick thoughts on the show, whether or not I'll continue it, that sort of thing. Then I'll go ahead and delve into some of my further thoughts, which will contain spoilers on the first 3 episodes. I'll mainly talk about what I thought about the episodes, things I liked, things I didn't like, stuff like that. Also covering some of the basics of what happened. And as you can probably tell from that, each First Impressions episode will be filmed after I've watched the first 3 episodes of the series I will be talking about. And if I decide to continue the series, which I will have stated previously and probably at the end as well, I'll make a full review when I complete the series, or if I eventually decide to drop it when I drop it. So for now, let's begin with our first show, which, as you should have been able to tell by the title, assuming I put it in there somewhere, is the Death Note drama. So before we delve into the spoilers, yes, this is a spoiler warning for all of you who skipped the intro, which I told you I do not recommend. I'm going to give my quick thoughts. So, to put it simply, if you are a fan of Death Note and are expecting to see kind of a recreation of it in this live action format, you should know you're not going to find this enjoyable, because this has some changes from the original story that are quite large, and I'm trying to avoid saying spoilers, but they're kind of big changes from what I've noticed, or at least I think they're pretty big, considering of some things that are pretty big that are changed. But it changes the series quite a bit. I don't necessarily see it story-wise changed, but it changes it more. I don't know how to explain it, but more character-wise, if that makes any sense. On the other hand, if you've never seen Death Note, first off, I recommend you go watch the anime first to read the manga, because it's better than the live action. I'm just saying that. Or you're okay with seeing what is essentially a different story, then go ahead and give it a shot, because it's not really that bad. Personally, I'm fine with it, but it's because you just kind of have to forget it's Death Note, because it's not necessarily Death Note. It has the same basic premise and all that, but with the changes, you're not watching the same series. You're essentially watching a new version of it, or a remake. Nah, that's not really the right way to say it either. But anyways, if you haven't watched the first 3 episodes and don't want spoilers for those 3, then go ahead and leave now. I'll give you a couple seconds to leave. So, Death Note. This live action adaptation is definitely something new. In this video, to kind of sum up what I'll be doing, I'll mainly be pointing out some differences from this and the main series, as well as sprinkling in some of my own thoughts on the series itself. And this video shouldn't be too long. This is kind of just to say what I think about it. But anyways, let's begin. So, for starters, this shows something that, at least is the main problem I found with it, to be honest, and it's probably something most fans of the original series will kind of hate. It turns Light, who, in case you don't know and are for some reason still watching this far, is the main character. He goes from the super genius he was in the anime, being the top of his class, to being essentially an average student who gets average grades, as it seems, and isn't super smart, which is kind of an issue. And another thing it does, which is I just kind of thought I'd mention, which is kind of pointless, it seems, is in contrary to the anime in this, which we find out in the first episode, Light's mother is actually dead, which I didn't really see the point of, but I guess. And due to some situations with how that happens, which I won't talk about because it's too much stuff to talk about, and mainly because I don't remember it. He kind of Light seems to kind of resent his father. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure he does, but I'm not really sure. But once again, the whole Light isn't super smart thing is kind of the main problem that I've seen with the series. And it's also the main problem, but I think any fan of the original will have with the series, because when I first saw this, or when I read this online, I was like, how is Light going to compete with L, who is still a super genius? And I kind of still think that, because we've had 3 episodes of this, and each episode's been significantly long. Like, the first one was like an hour and a half, I think, and then the other 2 were about an hour, and this is rounding. But the fact that he's not super smart and L still is like, how are they compete? How are they gonna compete? Because up until now, it seems that this Light is only surviving by mere luck or coincidence. One example, which I'll bring up, is from this most recent episode, the 3rd episode. In this episode, Ray Penber, who is apparently not called Ray Penber, I forget his actual name. It's another change that I probably won't talk more about, to be honest. He's about to kill Light because of a whole bunch of series of circumstances, with him actually being a lot smarter in this series, and probably being smarter than Light, to be honest. But he's gonna kill Ray Penber, or Ray Penber's gonna kill Light, sorry, when all of a sudden Misa, who is there, and saves him by writing his actual name in the Death Note, because she has the Shinigami eyes. But, well, good. And she didn't reveal herself, which I'm assuming is going to happen next episode, most likely. But, this is like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. It's odd that she would just happen to be there to save him. It's an odd coincidence, and I was kind of like, is this just how it's going to happen? But what I'm thinking is, how is Light supposed to survive against L for any more than at most 2 episodes? Especially considering, with this episode mainly, L should be 100% sure by now Light is Kira. Now, this is mainly due to the fact that he was listening into a conversation in which somebody, obviously Light, claiming to be Kira, gave explicit instructions to Ray, which ended in the FBI member's death. The whole send the FBI agents to your computer, have somebody send them to you, yada yada yada. Now, the reason I said somebody is because Light was kind of using a voice changer, which I guess could be a reason. But the way L listened in on this was that Ray had a mic on him, like a wire, and he supposedly had this on for the entire episode, or not the whole the whole episode, which kind of is what gets me thinking. If he has this wire on him, then shouldn't earlier in the episode, when he lost track of Light, who he was tailing at the time, L should have also heard this. So this kind of makes me think, how does L not know it's Light at this point? So, but besides that, I haven't really seen any problems with the series, and it isn't half bad. That's kind of the only problem I've noticed. And the thing is, though, it's just not really Death Note. But it's similar enough, and it has basically the same premise, and it's quite enjoyable. Just not necessarily a Death Note adaptation. As long as the coincidences don't get too out of hand, I'll probably enjoy this to the end. Okay, so to kind of wrap up the video, that's basically about uh, on the series. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm hoping the coincidences don't go too crazy, but I'll be continuing it to the end, and when it eventually finishes, I'll be doing a full review on it. Um, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Look forward to more first impression videos in the future, especially considering a whole bunch of series has had their 3 episodes in the past while, but my internet's been going kind of wonky. So I'll be doing a lot more within the coming week or two. So yeah, that's about it for this video. My name is 1David29, and I am out. Peace.